Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about the Spider-Man tie-ins into the Civil War crossover. So we're going to cover Amazing Spider-Man issues 533 and 534. So we're dealing with the aftermath of Spider-Man actually revealing his secret identity to the world. This is part of the whole superhero registration. And even though this would feel out of character for Spider-Man, they were really building this up in the Spidey series, especially with his relationship with Tony Stark. During this time, he had joined the Avengers, he had moved to Avengers Tower. So Peter Parker really trusted Tony and admired him, and during this whole time, he sort of had him like his surrogate father figure. So obviously, Iron Man was all in with the superhero registration. He gets Spider-Man to reveal his identity to set an example. So now the Civil War has started. Captain America has rebelled. Spider-Man's really having to deal with the ramifications of having revealed his secret identity to the world. J. Michael Straczynski, who's the writer of the story, puts a lot of emphasis on how Spidey's really not taking this lightly. He really feels this burden that he's put his family at risk. And Peter Parker actually tells Tony Stark, look, if anything happens to my family, I consider this to be your fault. And Tony actually tells Spider-Man, look, you have become sort of like my right-hand man. I'll do everything to protect your family. So now, because Spider-Man has revealed his identity first, J. Jonah Jameson totally loses it when he discovers that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are one and the same. He files a gigantic lawsuit against Peter Parker because he considers that all the pictures that he sold him were all fraudulent. Another thing that happens to Peter Parker is that he sort of becomes a celebrity and he's being hounded by people everywhere he goes. So what happens is he finds himself not being able to leave Avengers Tower with his family. And actually what happens is at one moment, one crazy guy that's pro Team Cap tries to kill Peter Parker. One of the few times he leaves the tower with his family. And the last and probably the most obvious thing that's going to happen is that every single one of Spider-Man's villains now know his secret identity and they're going to start gunning after him. Especially Wilson Fisk, who's going to put a gigantic price over Peter Parker's head. So now in the second issue, everything takes place after the big battle where we had the death of Black Goliath. A lot of people that were part of Team Cap were captured. And now they're going to be moved to a facility where they can teleport them to this prison that's in the negative zone. So Spidey's going to be part of this convoy that's going to make sure that no one's going to try to break these heroes out. Obviously, Team Cap tries to move in and liberate their allies. Now, this takes place in the middle of New York City, and Spider-Man's sort of astounded with how reckless Captain America is. So what actually happens with this battle is that Captain America tries to draw Spider-Man away from the main conflict. While they're battling, he's trying to convince Spider-Man to join his side. Now, obviously, Peter Parker has some major respect for Steve Rogers, but he thinks he has gone way too far. And he actually tells Cap, look, a lot of innocent people can be hurt because of this whole battle. And Cap's like, what about the innocent people that are going to be thrown in jail because they were superheroes and they sort of broke the law, but this law, I don't like it. As I mentioned in previous videos about the Civil War crossover, it's funny because back when I was younger and I read this crossover the first time, I was like Team Cap all the way. Now I'm a dude in my mid-40s and I think that Tony Stark was the correct one in this whole conflict. But that aside, what happens in this battle is that Spider-Man webs up Captain America's shield. Captain America actually retreats. He leaves his shield behind. But what happens, out of respect, Spider-Man stays and watches over the shield. He makes sure that no one's able to steal it. He actually lets Captain America come back and take it. Cap has no idea that Spider-Man is actually watching in the shadows when he does this in the first place. But what we see in this story as it progresses is that Spider-Man is starting to have his doubts. This will actually lead to him actually switching sides and joining Team Cap, but we're going to cover that in another video. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.